Hi everyone, I'm Bart Fixes Things. So we got a 12 volt outlet in our RV. I promise it's not going to be an RV channel, but I basically ordered this panel from AliExpress. It comes from different plugs in it. A switch, so we can basically toggle the entire thing on and off. We got some USB-C in here as well. And well, we're going to basically solder this all together and then install it in the RV. The reason I wanted the switch is basically this allows you to actually turn everything off, because there's bound to be like resistors and probably capacitors inside of this. So you're also going to have some sort of a vampire drain if this isn't physically turned off. I might actually replace one of these with a 230 volt outlet, but I haven't got that in store yet. So we'll just start by setting this up. Yeah, so this is the current setup in the RV. So as you can see, it's basically a antenna, which we don't use anymore. There's the 230 volts, which is also a bit broken. So we're going to replace this entire unit. And so there's the 12 volt DIN, which we also won't be using. And then over here, there's like a false panel, which we'll start by taking that one out and see what's behind. So here we are inside of the cupboard. Well, you are inside. I'm sort of awkwardly trying to be inside. You can probably see the screws better than me. Oh, here we go. Just to the side. So what do we see here? Let's get a bit closer. So there's the antenna coming in, which we're not using anymore because everybody has an iPad these days. This is a 230 feed, which we're probably going to be reusing with the new plug. And this is 12 volts with some extra connectors because they, well, okay, something that probably goes. Yeah, no, that's not helping. This mess, yeah, this is the 12 volt wires. Basically, this is the big ones that are coming in, which are quite heavy, probably because of the TV, which is no longer there. They're connected to this guy, and the thing coming off here is going to the left. Yeah, so those small ones go to these lights. So there's permanent 12 volt on that. So we need to make sure we are able to connect those two as well. And also, as you can see, this is quite thick wire. So we might have to use a bit thicker wire because, well, if you, for example, charge your laptop from this, then yeah, it's going to take some juice. Yeah, if you have to use too small wires, they'll probably melt. So this just goes out to the lamp. So this is fine for the lamps. But if this, well, this is going in. So basically, also I go from thick to thin, and you make sure that the wires are thick enough for whatever you're going to be using them for. This is actually also quite deep, like this thing, and of course the other on the other side. Yeah, so I'm not really sure why they made this so deep, because it's easily 5 centimeters. Yeah, we might do something about that as well, because it's not because of the hole anyway. Oh, that's my finger. Yep, let's disassemble some more. Yeah, so this thing, you see the screw is long missing. So maybe you should just push it from the back and see if it pops out. There's a small, yeah, there we go. Which reveals more screws. we go. Just last the antenna. Lovely. Okay, so we're probably just gonna chuck this. Yeah, maybe I want to reuse this thing, but I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Oh, we'll have to see if we can use this. So now, yeah, so I didn't show you, yes, but basically you can just unscrew these guys. You didn't tighten them like that. Keep the ring, that's important. And this one too. So now I was hoping into having it in this orientation, but as you can see, that will not cover the hole. But this way it just might, barely, but yeah, barely is good enough. So it's probably going to be like this. And well, I was hoping that with some slight modification we could do this. So as you can see, that might actually work. Downside of doing it like that is that it's going to be crazy deep, which is not okay. The downside of doing it like this is that I need to make a really big hole in here, which is also not okay. Yeah, I'm gonna find a smaller one than this, and then so I'm gonna leave the hole blank for now, and we'll figure it out later. Yeah, so now the dilemma becomes, do you want to solder inside here, or do you would like these things to be attached properly? It's not great either way. If this thing is too small to actually clamp onto something, this one I can make a spacer, of course, which is probably a good idea, so that you can actually clamp onto something. So, but that also means that I have to put it in later, so I can't solder this on the bench. Yeah, also I'm going to probably put the 230 inside of the cabinet instead of on the outside. So there's just going to be 3 USB leads here. I'm going to take it back to the bench now and then try and figure out what I need to do with all these things here as well, and come up with a plan. Yeah, so we're going to test this out. So this is just a 9-volt battery, which should be enough to drive these things. If I do it correctly anyway. So I've got the, of course, the minus, I've got the plus and the minus reversed, because yeah, that's what you do. So black is now positive, okay. So, but that should mean that I should be able to connect it just to the back, plus and minus. And then, this has a separate button. Okay, that means that this might actually not be necessary. Yeah, okay. And we need to figure out the polarity of the switch. So I assume the gold contact is again the plus. So one of these should go to ground to actually get like the light going. And one is the one that's switched. So that doesn't do anything. Trying not to short circuit everything. That doesn't do either. Okay. Interesting. Oh, the minus came off, of course. Okay, this is not the best way to connect these, obviously. So let's try it again. As I said, normally red is positive, but I've reversed them for creative purposes. Yeah, so this doesn't work. So if I put the minus on the center tab, it doesn't work either. Nice. Okay, maybe positive should be somewhere else. There's nothing. Oh, there we go. Okay, so but if that works, then this should probably work as well. Nope. Okay. So the positives goes on here and a negative goes on here. And then the center is probably switched. Okay, we'll have to try that, but that looks okay. Yeah, so these are not the ones I was looking for, but these will also work. So basically, you can just put wires in here and then open them all the way. Yeah, and then just basically clamp down on them. There we go. So what I can do is I can just run all the minuses in here, then have one cable connect to here, and then either cut off the other one or just adapt. I'm not sure. I can do either. And probably the same for the plus, because it also makes it much easier to hook up, and it makes it much cleaner. Less open connections and stuff. Okay. So this time around, everything that's minus is black, and this one has a slight bit of red. So I'm going to solder, well, some of it together, not everything of course, because it still needs to be put together. So we'll take these off, lay them to the side, and then we'll pre-tin the connectors. Basically, I'm just putting some solder on it. When I'm done this one, I'll show you guys a bit closer what's going on. And a nice smoke show. Yeah, so as you might be able to see, there's some lobs on there. It's not ideal yet, but it should be enough to actually tack something under much easier. So we're pre-tinning these wires as well. As always, you need like 3 hands for this. So, oh, of course, the last bit of solder. Again, as long as there's just something on there, because you guys fit nicely in the cupboard, but I don't. So this basically will help me bake things together once we're inside of there. And it's probably also wise to, even though it's behind a wooden panel, to put some heat shrink in there. Yep, and these are the last two. And then we've got some holes to drill. I will probably solder some of these to... I can already solder some of these to the connectors, of course. So I'll do that before we go back to the RV. I've got some spare solder, which is a bit big. It's gonna work, but yeah, it's not ideal. I did found some more, which is good. Okay, so I've turned you guys on the side. So let's see, this is the minus. It's going to be on top, so that's not this one, so that's this one. So it's going to be like that. I can already solder that side. I'm not going to solder the other side because it needs to come apart. So as you can see, it's already has quite a lot of trouble adhering, or soldering actually together. Yep, there we go. Go on to the other side. That's going to be a bit harder for you to see. Oh, this might work. So that's why I wanted to prepare this, because inside of a cupboard, this is a nightmare. There's a high chance of you burning yourself. So that's two connected. Put these out of the way for now. Then this is another minus we had, which goes from there to there. Oh, it's a bit long, apparently. Let's keep it on the inside. Yeah, this is better. There we go. And the same goes for the plus. Yeah. Which will go through this side. Come on, needs to flow, otherwise it's not good enough. That's better. So that's properly connected. These will connect there. So we're gonna put this one to the side again. Up. And then basically these last two ones will connect to the connector block. So minus will be on this end. This will probably need a bit more solder. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's hot. And then this is the plus side again. Cool. I didn't need to solder these ones, but yeah. Next. Okay, so one more plug and it's time for testing. So this is a blue one, so make sure you use the blue dot. This is going to be the positive, so it's going to be on here. Oh, I think. Well, maybe we have to switch around some connections here. Oh, I forgot to strip this one down. But that's fine, we can do that now. So basically there's only one connection hooked up now. The others need to be soldered when in place, but I wanted to test it first on the bench here because it's much easier. So here we go. So here we have our power supply, which sometimes comes loose and also has the wrong colors. So in this case, this is the plus. So that's going to be this guy in. And then red comes out. Yep, this is red. Cool. Yep. And then this is the minus, which connects to everything here. Yeah. So we should be able to turn this on and then this should light up, and it does. That's pretty cool. And so if we sort of sneakily put these guys in here, yeah, so this doesn't keep state, or I'm just not connecting it correctly. I was hoping they would keep state. No, they don't. Okay, you have to turn them on individually. But that's not a big problem. You can still turn everything off with one switch. Okay, so this works. So that means disconnecting the battery. And then seeing which holes we need to drill. So that's why we need the holes. Basically took this and placed it as good as I could. And as you can see, we have very little material at the bottom to work with. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Let's do some drilling. 1, 2, 3. Other sides. As you can see, it all just fits there. So the bottom is now a bit loose, of course, so we're going to put the screws in, and then we're going to try to burn ourselves by soldering in here. Yep, next. Yeah, so it's slightly crooked, but yeah, it's what it is. It's covering the hole, so that's got to count for something, I guess. Yeah, that screw's doing nothing. Can almost fit. Oh man. Solder with left is always a good idea. This is why I at least try to pre-tin everything. But as you can see, it's really hard to even get the soldering iron in the correct place. There we go. That's one. Okay. That was hot. So I'm trying to. Oh, you guys still seeing something? No, I knocked you over. Well, you're basically seeing about as much as I am. Second wire going on. Maybe I need to get a head-mounted GoPro or something for this. That's two. So let's try it. This one is the third. So if you're really unlucky, things will come loose when you're doing this. Oh, I guess. Go on, solder. No, that needs extra solder, I guess. Get it. Now we're getting... Well, I'm gonna get you guys out of here because it's too close. So the minus will go to the other minus. So we'll cut these off and keep them together. I'm gonna try to do that. 1, 2, and this is a big one. Yes. And then these will go into here. Oh, I need to open it up first, there goes. Sure everything goes inside. Nope, that's not gonna work. I need to make this a bit smaller, I guess. And all the same for the plus. So we're just gonna cut these off. Yep. Yeah, so unfortunately I have to take about half of this off. Yeah, I know it's not ideal, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So this can now fit in here. There we go. And then these two can fit in here as well. Lovely space. Yep, and then one more. There we go. And then this should fit onto the switch as well. Crossed. There we go. So it's time to test it out. So, no sparks yet. Turns on. Nice. Here we go. Yes, so the milk came today with the power outlet. As you can see, it's just a standard power outlet with a hefty spring. And this basically just connects to ground, well, plus and minus basically. Yeah, so the center is, I don't know if you can see that. It focuses. Yep. So the center is ground and the other two are just power. So yeah, these should be quite easily mounted, if you have a saw, of course. So we're gonna just saw a hole and then see if we can actually get this in there. To make sure I actually can get this in there, I've got this piece of wood here, which we're going to use to test drill and then test fit and see if it fits. And if it does, then we're going to do it on the RV side. Yes. Contact. Need more speed than that. This is gonna work. All right, so I've decided to just drill just slightly above it because on the side, I'm afraid that because this mattress can move up as well, I'm afraid it's going to get stuck on the mattress at some point. So we're just going to drill there. We're going to drill with the normal drill first, so that we can see where we are at here. And then, of course, try to keep all these wires out of the way to prevent us from actually hitting them. And then, if you got a hole all the way through, we'll use the hole saw to actually drill from both sides first, because otherwise you might have basically the hole explode on the other side. And that way, so we're gonna start on the outside a bit, do the inside a bit, and then continue on the outside. So that way there's the least chance of us having a blowout, basically. Okay. Yep, so here we go. Cover your ears. Yeah, this is a nice position. So you guys can't see anything, right? Well, you can, but I move my arm out of the way a bit. I can do that for you. Okay. In the back here, I'm moving the wires out of the way. And as I said, we'll start with here. Yeah. And then move to the other side. So that the top layer is basically scratched on both sides. So a hole. That fits quite nicely. Okay, then we can basically connect up these wires, and yeah, let's do that first, because you guys are already here. Okay. Double check that the power is off. It is. Okay, let me see it up close. So basically you can just shove them in there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, if you turn it, it pulls up the clamp. So yeah, you can just stick it in and then pull it up. Let's get these guys out of the way. That was me getting stuck on a hinge. Okay, stick it in there. And then the trick is to tighten it without it, yes, getting loose. Okay, come on, guy. So let's need to, well, basically the RV is, this is not completely parallel, so this will just be parallel to the thing below it. That's probably the best I can do, but that's fine. So that looks good. So let's put one in. Let's not overdo it because it's on quite a high setting. Yeah, so it would be nicer if it went slightly to the left. So we loosen up this one. And then we try again. See if we can make it do it a bit better. So it has to come down a bit, so that means that, if you guys can see, I basically try to put this one down a bit more. That's looking good. Two more for good measure. Go, one plug. Okay, last tip. I borrowed this set to actually make the hole. And, well, you should always basically, if you lend someone from something or borrow something, you should try and give it back to them in a better shape than you got it. So in this case, like, there's a lot of sawdust and stuff in there, and these are just sort of greasy. I'm just gonna vacuum it out and clean them so that, yeah, I can give them back looking slightly better. Here it goes. Some silicone spray and a clean rag. Doesn't have to be like new, but it's already looking much better. Because the silicone is a bit sticky, you basically get all the dry stuff sticking together. So if you just wipe it out, then yeah. Okay, cool. So these guys are just dusty. I'm not gonna polish them or anything. Just give them a dry clean. Get all the dust out of there so that it runs smooth again. Yeah, we could add a drop of oil, but it's smooth as it is, and it might attract even more dust. So in this case, I'm not going to. Now just to finish it off, just do the outside. Thanks for borrowing it.